What would you do in a situation where a guest says, "Play my song," or "We're leaving"? This is more suited to like a club or a
The
bar
club.
setting.
I used to be like, goodbye. Have a good night.
All right, ladies and gents, you have been seeing my face way too much, so I thought it was time to bring a special guest on. He's been rocking with heavy hits for a while now. He goes by the name of DJ Ben Boylan. He is based out of New York, and he has done almost every single gig you could possibly think of. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we got our man, DJ Ben Boylan, in the building. What is up, Chief? How are you?
Hey, very good, very good.
Good,
Thanks for
good,
having
good.
me.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been telling me you've been very busy. What's your schedule been like the last couple months?
Yeah, so since we were able to reopen, weddings have just been back with a vengeance. And basically, in May and June, I was like maybe 2 a week. And then from July until now, which is December, almost December, it was 3 weddings every week.
And that's by yourself, like all day ceremony, cocktail, reception,
Yeah,
everything?
yeah. I had an assistant at the ones that were in town, but mostly by myself,
Wow.
basically.
That is crazy. I do one a week and I'm just like, I'm done. That's it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I'm
At the end
toasted.
of the third one, I'm just kind of like, not really seeing straight. Yeah.
Okay. And then so you talk about weddings, but can you talk a little bit about what else you've done? Like maybe just go start to finish, like give everyone a rundown of your kind of DJ career so far.
Okay. Yeah. So I went to college upstate in Albany, New York, and then I moved to New York City around 2003. And at that point, I started DJing in, small bars and then bigger bars and clubs. And I was basically DJing in places like that 3 to 4 times a week from 2003 to 2016. I believe around 2008 or 2009, I did my first wedding, and I was doing maybe just a few a year until 2016. Well, it got more and more. And then 2016, I was married and I had my first kid, and I was like, I'm just going to go into weddings. So I've been doing like 50 or 60 since then per year, and now it's more than that.
Did you DJ your own wedding?
I didn't. I
Very dope. Very cool. Well, can you this whole point of this video is to talk about like handling requests. So you've been doing this for a long time. So can you just give people some general pointers before I throw some sample scenarios at you that a lot of people get?
Absolutely. So yeah, if you DJ, this has happened to you. You're trying to do your job, and someone interrupts you politely or not so politely, and makes a request for you to play a song for them. And I would say there's like 3 major goals you should have with this scenario. Number 1 is to keep the party going. So regardless of what happens, you want to keep the energy that's at that point or improve it. All right. Number 2 is you want to make sure you don't get distracted. Don't let this person distract you because sometimes they'll want to go on and on and on, and the song will be ending and you'll be trying to mix out and this person is still talking to you. So don't get distracted. And the third one is, and this is controversial, try to be as kind as possible to the person. Sometimes it's very hard, but think about how your boss, the club owner, or your client, the corporate client, or the bride and groom, how would they want you to speak to their client or their friend or their sibling or something? And do your best, if you can, to be kind.
Okay, are you ready for me to hit you with some sample scenarios?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to go easiest to hardest.
Okay.
We'll kind of go with that. Okay. So what if a guest comes up to a DJ or you as a DJ and they're requesting a song that doesn't necessarily fit the vibe you're going with or where you're going?
Okay, so yeah, people will often ask for music that is either off format. In other words, you're at an event or a club and you're playing all trap, all new hip hop music, or you're playing EDM, house music, something like that, or maybe you're playing classics. And what they ask for is the opposite of that. Sometimes people ask for an obscure song. Maybe it is in the genre, but no one's going to know it. And if people don't know the song, they generally won't dance to it. Or they might ask for a slow song. Usually when I'm DJing, and most people, they don't want to play slow music. You want to play, upbeat music that will make people dance. So basically you can just, I think you can either deal with it at the moment or you can try to put it off and see if it goes away. So if you deal with it at the moment, you just say, you make an excuse. And I would suggest a white lie at this point. I'm sorry, I don't have it. Well, could you look it up? Oh, I don't have the internet. Could you plug in my phone? I don't have the wire. And just think of what they're going to say and make up an excuse. Or you can put it off by saying, yeah, no problem, I'll play it. Just give me a minute, and hope that they don't come back, and they might not.
You got this all worked out, man. This is this is ridiculous. What would you do in a situation where a guest says, play my song or we're leaving? This is more suited to like a club or a bar setting.
I used to be like, goodbye, have a good night. You know, because honestly, I kind of want them to leave. I mean, if there's no one there, they're the only people, then it's kind of like, okay, what is it? But generally, it would just be like, okay, I'm sorry, I don't do that. You know, I'm not going to play exit music. You know, you're not the king and queen of Zamunda or whatever from Coming to America. So
yeah.
you're like your exit song. So goodbye, basically.
Okay. Nice. Would you tell them goodbye or what?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes at a club, I would have had a beer or maybe 3 or 4. And, they'd be like, could you play? We're leaving. Could you play a song? I'd be like, goodbye. Have a good night. See ya. So now I'm a little more mature, though.
Okay, yeah. So you might do a little more of a white lie in that situation.
Yeah, white lie. You're like, sorry.
Okay. Sorry, don't have it. Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you do about the ever so now classic move that a lot of people do, which is the phone on forehead with giant letters that are like facing you? I
actually threw it one time, but that was a long time ago, and I would never do that again.
So wait, you took their phone and you threw it?
I took their phone and threw it. That was like 10 years ago, and I think someone caught it and gave it back to them. So it was like at this place, and there was like 200 people, and I just like, because like often they're very rude about it. They take and they put it right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, usually I look and see what it is, because sometimes it's something that I want to play. It might be the song I'm going to play next. So I look and see what it is, and usually, I mean, honestly, most requests aren't good. They're not songs that I would play. So I don't take most requests. So I'll just be like, you know, I'm sorry. But if they're rude about it, I kind of move back and try to, you know, mirror their behavior. But I try to be nice.
Okay. So now we're getting into more of the difficult situations here. So
Sure.
What would you do if you're dealing with someone who is just absolutely hammered? Maybe they're stumbling over the booth, and let's say it's not necessarily an event where there's security at it, right? Like you're doing a private event. Let's say a guest was hitting the open bar at 5 and you're on at 8. So they've had 3 hours and they've just been like pounding it back the whole time.
Okay. Well, this actually happens to me at least twice a year at weddings where people are really out of control. Recently, I had the father of the bride almost knocked my speaker over. He ran into the table that I was DJing on. So, you know, these things happen. Generally, at a wedding, I've learned to ask for help recently. So if someone comes over and they start grabbing me or touching the equipment or breathing right in my face, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna need a little space. I'm trying to work here. Could you give me a little space? And they don't respond and they don't do it. And once again, if I do 70 weddings a year, this happens maybe once or twice. This isn't a common occurrence, but it does happen. Generally, I'll ask them, you know, could I have a little space? And if they don't do it, then I go and get either the planner, so that's the wedding planner or the coordinator. And usually a second person will get them to stop. Or if there's no planner or coordinator, there's this one place upstate I DJ at where the owner always hangs around. And I had this guy who would like, he was just harassing me. And I went and got the owner. The owner was like 6'5" or something. And like, just like got the guy out of my face, and the guy didn't come back. And I have actually had to go get the client. So my number one thing is I don't want to bother the bride and groom. I don't want to be like, excuse me, on the most important day of your life, someone plugging the DJ. Like, I don't want to do that. But if some, you know, I was at a wedding and, you know, one of the guests was a police detective. And he's like, hey, shake my hand. And he's like grabbing my hand. He's like, you're going to play my song. And he's like, it really hurt. And so at that, and he like kept bothering me. So at that point, I was like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you. But your uncle is like harassing me. And before I finished it, before I said your uncle, they knew exactly who it was. Everyone that night and acting crazy and drinking straight whiskey or whatever. So often, like, they will help you. They don't want their vendor to be bothered by their guests. They're embarrassed by it. That's a last resort, but I'll ask for help generally.
Okay, this is my last one. And
Sure.
you kind of touched on it a little bit,
Okay.
but this applies to a lot of things where you're getting requests, but people are using their status as leverage. So, for example, let's do two here. So,
Sure.
let's say, like, what would you do if you're in like more of like a club setting, and let's say the owner comes up because it's a high-end client or something like that,
Yeah.
and
With
the
the
owner of the
vinyls,
venue,
yeah.
and the owner of the venue is using their status in that way. So let's start there.
Okay. Generally, if it's the owner, it's going to fall on them eventually. I mean, it sucks to like have to play like, Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi in the middle. You were playing like Peppas and everyone's jumping up and down in the air. And the owner's like, that table just spent $1,000 and we need you to play Bon Jovi right now and stop Peppas right now in the middle of the song. And like you do it and everyone's like, looking at you and they're like, boo, I'll do it. I generally will do it. I'll be like, are you
Okay.
sure you want me to do that?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we don't care. Do it. So I'll do it. And you don't want to like point at them, but you kind of like stand back and make it obvious like there's something weird going on. Yeah, but I just do it in that case.
Okay. And then what if it's more of like a private event, and let's say it's a wedding and the bride and groom are coming up to you, or let's do, this is what happens a lot I've seen, is the maid of honor comes up.
Yeah.
And they like throw the title of maid of honor at you, right?
Okay. So first off, like I often assume like, and this is wrong sometimes, but I often assume like the owner or the manager of a club knows a little more about like DJs and music. So I kind of like don't try to like explain it to them as much. But people who are having a wedding, they might have never been in this position before. They might not go to clubs. They might not know that if you play a song people don't like, that they'll stop dancing. They don't know that. So I'll try to explain it to them. But my hierarchy basically is, if it's the couple, the bride or the groom, or the bride or the bride, whatever, if it's one of the two people who's getting married, if they ask me to do something, I do it right away after the song is playing. I don't cut it off in the middle of the song. I play it the next song, no matter what it is, even if it's a slow song or something weird. And then if it's the parents, I generally will do it unless it's like something that they obviously don't like. And if it's something they obviously don't like the couple, if something the couple obviously doesn't like if the couple said no line dances and they want to hear Cupid Shuffle, then I'll be like, okay, no problem. And then I'll go ask the couple and see what they say. And they often will be like, hell no, sorry, Mom, we're not doing that. If it's anyone else, like maid of honor, I just don't do it. Yeah. I'm nice about it. I'm really not. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's not on the list tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Awesome. Right on. Well, after those questions, do you have anything else you would like to add on? Anything you kind of want to plug? The floor is yours. So take it away.
I guess I would just say, don't be hard on yourself. It's really, it can be very difficult. These people can be very demanding, rude, even a little abusive sometimes. You never know what someone's going through. People often use like clubs and parties as like kind of like therapeutically, like they go out to blow off steam and drink and get drunk or very drunk. So do your best and, don't worry about it. This happens to all of us. And especially if you're new at this.
Awesome, bro. Well, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Peace out.
Thank you.